Alrighty people, welcome back. I'm Nat at My Magic. Thank you for joining me again for another throwing session on Stevie the Wonder Wheel. So I decided today to do another attempt at Matthew Kelly's swirl mugs and if it works, put it up on YouTube. So the difference that I wanted to try was he always does a really small cylinder up, facets it and swirls it. But the base then is really small and they can be a bit unstable. Well, the ones I've tried anyway, I'm sure his are perfect. So what I wanted to try was leaving a bigger base, but then just still doing the cylinder in and just trying to get a bigger base for the stability, because you have to do a really small cylinder so that the faceting will swirl. But also I'm doing it on my pink and white marble clay. So I'm also going to do my first ever staining on the pink and white marble clay. So my plan is, if this works, to use the soft red on the rim and try and get it to dribble down a bit in the faceting. So, you know, you'll see all that in the long run out of the kiln, if it works. So the first thing I'm going to do is just try and leave the base a bit bigger. And then I'm just going to bring in from about there, in and up. And just do like a smaller cylinder for the faceting side of it. I have no idea, I'm just making this up as I go, so we'll see what ends up happening. You know, you gotta adapt the things you see and to your own style and see what you like, but see if anything what works and what doesn't, so we shall see. So just go down in the middle, obviously with that, leaving that big foot bit at the bottom. Got to be careful not to go down into that, come out. And then we just want to bring this middle cylinder bit up, in and up. So it's probably going to be really wobbly now, because that probably pulled it way off center doing that. But we shall see. Got a split rim. And then you want to keep your cylinder quite small, because for when you do the faceting, although probably not just yet, because you've still got to get your fingers in to pull it up. And then obviously you still want your walls to be quite thick, because you're going to be faceting them. So that's probably about right. Make that a nice thin little cylinder. Right, bring that down. And then what Matthew Kelly does is because normally his cylinder is thin like that right down to the wheel, so the foot is quite small. And then he puts a finger mark about, I don't know, 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch up from the wheel head and starts faceting from there. Well, I don't have to worry with that. And then he also, I'll just cut a little bit of that rim off. He also, I'll put one at the top, which I will do. Just so that your eye has something to look at and you don't go past where you're supposed to go, sort of thing. So you just get your nail or whatever, use a tool, whatever, and about there. So you stop your faceting there, so that you can you have a nice rim. You don't facet to the top, because then that wouldn't be nice to drink from either. And then I'm just going to try this one. This tool, I just want to see what will happen with this tool. Just get little really small facets. So he usually uses something like that size. I just want to try with a really little faceting. So I'm just going to start at the very bottom, go up, and finish where I did that finger mark at the top. And then you just do them right next to each other, pretty close. And then if you guys, you can feel free to fast forward this bit if you want. I am non-existent in editing because I don't know how to edit. But if anybody, I use an iPhone 13. If anybody out there knows of an editing app for an iPhone for video, I would love that. Like something easy to use, because I'm hopeless. I would love that, you know, when people do this bit on fast forward and they put writing over the top of their videos and music and all that. As you will have seen from all my videos, not one of my videos has any of that. Nowhere near fancy enough for that. So any advice on that, you just greatly appreciate it. Okay, so just go all the way around the same. Just keep getting the clay out of here. Again, because he normally does bigger faceting, I don't know. I mean, still only does really little on a bowl, on a mug, sorry, but this is even smaller again. Oh, and I just realised I didn't get the, I didn't take the slip off for the marbling. I might just try and do that. I ruined my faceting. Just to reveal that marbling a bit better. As you can see, you can already see it a bit better, and then I'll just fix that up, because you don't really have the chance to do that afterwards. I mean, you can usually do it at trimming, but not when you facet at it, you can't. Stuck in the tool. This is the same tool I use when I do the when I've got, well, usually I've done it on a bowl, and I just get this same tool and I just go up and down, once up, once down, while the wheel's spinning on the side of a bowl, and it looks really good, and the glaze plays really well over it. So I really like the size of this tool for a bit of texture. So that's why I thought of it faceting. I thought, oh, I wonder. So if I wonder, I have to do. And if it doesn't work, it's just clay. So we'll find out. Sure, you guys probably fast forwarded it through all this. Nearly there. Okay, one more. Whoops. Combine combined those two. Oh well. Now I might just, where I went over with the rib there, I might just clean that up a tiny little bit if I need to. It's sort of going over it with the rib kind of squished it back together, so I'll just reopen that up a bit. There we go. Okay, so as I said, I've done this before, but I've only done it on with the bigger faceting, and I did it on blue marbling I think once, and it looked really good. So then what Matthew Kelly does is just runs over and gets these little rough bits out with a sponge, which again is going to muddy up my marbling a bit, but anyway, we'll see in the final result. I mean, it's hard to see the pink marbling anyway because it's so much fainter. I put a lot of stain in this one, so he's hoping it will stay, and I'll try to remember to put it on the top shelf of Freddie, and which is usually the coolest part of the kiln, so that means your stain doesn't burn off as much. Well, pinks and purples that normally burn off. So I'll just try and reveal a bit more of the marbling down here. Alright, so the fun part, well, the scary part, so then you want to get your fingers kind of like this, go down, and you're trying to push the spirals down and out and belly out at the same time. It looks like a Greek column at the moment. And then it'll go wobbly and off center as well, but that just happens with these. So get your wheel going quite fast, and then just go down, pressure downwards and out like that, and then you kind of like bring your rim back in. And then inside it's gone quite it sort of goes, well, I can show you actually, I'll see if I can show you. So because it was such a thin cylinder and then you stretched it, down the bottom is not really stretched. Don't know if you can see in there. It's kind of like, I don't know, I couldn't see whether you could see, so sorry if that was a fail. So I try and get my sponge and try and smooth that out a little bit and stretch it out a little bit, but this also will take it off center a bit. So they do tend to be, they're a bit fiddly, but as I say, I mean, I've only done maybe 4 or 5 of these before, so I've got to do a lot more practice with them, a lot more learning. But I like that one, it's cool. So then because you got this little bit of rim here to work with, you can then do your whole, you know, pinch your rim, make it nicer to drink from, and sort of tilt it out a bit. So that it's nicer to drink from. And then with the bottom, I've actually left quite a fair bit of clay there, so I might cut a whole heap of that off. And then because it's quite thick too, but I'll reuse all this clay, I'll make something else out of it so it won't go to waste. And then might even take some more off, but the look that I really like sometimes, I might just use this one and just get rid of all that and get rid of a bit more of that. It's very thick. There's a lot of clay there, so I could add a really huge mug on that one. And then I really like the look of kind of like the pedestals, so if you push this back down, down and out. And then fiddle with it. I can reveal the marbling again. You can almost get that sort of wine gobblety kind of base to it, which I kind of quite like. I'll have a fiddle. And then if you imagine, put a little handle on that. I might make that a bit smaller, it's still quite big. And then obviously cut, wire it off. But then if you, and you can sort of like, you can see there it's still a bit messy. So again, you can go over with your sponge, clean up carefully, obviously, because it's very soft. Clean it up a little bit. Maybe even down here, it's quite jagged down there because I did such small faceting. If you have a look at Matthew Kelly's or even my previous kiln unload videos, I did the bigger faceting, and it stays big like the top there down at the bottom as well, but then it's even bigger at the top. But that's oh, it's stuck. So I don't know, you can't really see the marbling. It's hard to see the pink and white, but it'll be interesting to see when it's fired. So there we go. All right, well, I'll fiddle with that a little bit more, but thank you very much for watching. Stay muddy and have a magic day. Bye.